Have you ever thought about or realized that helping people might be your way of avoiding helpless? I have talked about this with my therapist this week, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Let's get into it. Let's go. As humans, we are called to share our stories with others because when we share our stories, we remind each other that we are not alone, right? So, this is a memoir style podcast of healing, understanding, and the journey towards self love. And that is what I've been working through by myself and with a therapist and a psychiatrist. So, I am here to help you guys. And if you don't know me, hello, I am Lori Michelle. This is Choosing to Shine Echoes. I use my reflection cards to answer topics as a way of like journaling out loud every week. So I am going to go ahead and shuffle these up. And something that's been on my mind I wanted to share with you guys is if you've been with me since the podcast started, then you may remember Janie, who's also my vice president here at Choosing to Shine. Her home burnt down a few weeks ago. So please keep her and her child in your prayers. And they also lost 3 pets, which was just heart-wrenching. They are doing much better now. If you feel the call, I'm going to list a GoFundMe link in the description. We have been able to raise a little bit of money to help rebuild with the pets that she does have left, and obviously to buy toiletries and things like that and to rebuild. So the thing I wanted to share with you guys though, and what I talked to my therapist about, and let me go ahead and light my candle. I like to light a candle just to set an intention of community and connection through deep conversations. There we go. It's a new one, so I'm just making sure it's going to stay lit. So I had a really hard time the first, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I had a really hard time when she texted me, there's a lot going on, but I just need to let you know, like, our pets are missing. My home's currently burning down. The fire department's here. And I knew there was nothing I could do. And she lived over an hour away, and her parents and her brother were there, so she wasn't alone. But I just had like this deep sense of helplessness, right? And I consider myself a fixer. I've been a fixer my whole life. That means I like to jump in and help other people. I'm a people pleaser. And I just didn't know what to do with all of that, right? I didn't know what was going on. I was watching the news and trying to see things on social media. And I did see a live picture of the home burning, and it was just heart-wrenching. But the next day, I asked her if there was anything I could do for her, obviously. And she's like, I don't even know where to begin. And I said, well, why don't you let me run you a GoFundMe? Now, I've never done that before. I had no idea about the platform, but I'm like, I will have it up by the end of the day. I will figure it out. I will get it out there. And I did. And I just had such a relief that I could actually help in a meaningful way. And I mean, she's more like a sister to me than a best friend. We are super close. And I mean, it's been weeks now, and I have seen her in person, and it was really good to see her. And but I still like tear up just thinking about it. It was really hard, and there's a long road ahead to recovery, right? They're going to be doing some trauma therapy as well, which is much needed. Thank God for the Red Cross that provides that. So anyway, that just kind of sent me down this road of, I knew they were okay. I knew they were with their family. Why did I, because I'm always analyzing my feelings, right? Why did I have this deep sense of dread? Like I couldn't do anything. Yeah, it was a helplessness, but it was more than that. It was like over the top. And as I was talking through with my therapist, I realized that because I am a fixer and I felt so helpless, that I was basically putting like my worth, or my, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll just use worth. My worth, my contribution to her as a friend, and that I was worthless because I was helpless. And that just wasn't true, right? I just didn't, we didn't have the time. She was in the middle of a crisis, and to connect, and not to say any of this to make her feel bad. I've talked to her about this. This was something that I just needed something to do. So that just got me thinking. I thought that this would be a really good topic because I've talked about it a few times, being a fixer. And I, over the years, I have put myself in situations where I gave too much, right? We're people pleasers. And sorry, my phone's, I forgot to turn my phone off. I apologize. Let me put that out of the way. Okay, so we're just gonna put this over here. So we're gonna get rid of that. All right, focus, ADHD. So I kind of talked to my therapist about, you know, this one relationship that I had with a family member that I feel like I might have done more harm than good by always trying to talk about her problems for hours and hours, and trying to fix it, right? Well, have you tried this? Have you tried this? You know, what you should do is you should get more sleep. You should take this vitamin, you know, and then I would like follow up. Did you take that vitamin? Did you try this meditation? Whatever it was, right? Because I want to help. I do. I sincerely, I grew up, basically, I was the full-time caregiver for my brother who was 6 years younger than me. So it's just in my DNA. Like I need to help. And so I'm trying to personally find this balance. And I thought this would be a good topic because I feel like a lot of people might be like this. So we have that situation where I just gave like too much because it was more of just ruminating and ruminating and ruminating over the same thing. And then you have another relationship with my ex, and he was really the first person that said to me, you know, sometimes I just want to come home and bitch. Like, I don't want you to fix me. And I was like, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you know there's a problem, then why wouldn't you try to fix it? That was my thinking, right? And so I kind of feel like I need to meet somewhere in the middle. So this is what I'm working on this year, meeting somewhere in the middle. So my goddaughter actually came and visited with me over Easter, and hi, she does watch the podcast, and she was talking to me about some things that were on her mind. Sorry, it's really hot back in this room. I'm going to work on getting a fan back here. And I said, look, I'm a fixer. If you're just talking because you need to talk through it and you need to hear yourself out loud, because I do that, that is perfectly fine. But if you want advice, then please ask me for that advice, because I'm trying to meet somewhere in the middle, right? So that's what I'm working on this week. And I just wanted to bring that to you guys, because I think as a fixer, as a people person, like I said, we want to please someone. But I think for me, it went too far, and it got into the area of that is my worth, right? I have to jump in. I have to fix it. I have to do this. I have to do that. And it's just not true. So if you felt like that, go ahead and drop me a comment and let's chat about it. I'm going to pull a card. Oh, actually, let me turn on my other camera. There we go. There they are. And let's read this. Oh, gosh. What's a conspiracy theory you don't believe in, but you want to? Or what's a conspiracy theory you believe in? Which one do I want to answer? What's a conspiracy theory you don't believe in, but you want to? So I think I've talked about this one before. So if you're new here, I do rotate the cards out as I answer them, but I just put the whole deck back together. So obviously I've answered this question before. So I really want to believe in aliens and UFOs. I have been obsessed since I was a kid. I remember my uncle would bring me these UFO magazines. I don't even remember what it was called, but I mean, that was a long time ago, like in the 70s, early 80s. And, talking about Area 51 and all that stuff before the internet, right? And I've just never seen one. And I'm so fascinated by, people saying they've seen one, or, they've had an experience. And I don't know, I really want to believe in it, and I hope that they're nice. And I guess our government's getting ready to announce something, so I guess they're real. I think I have seen like an orb, like floating, but other than that, it was really teeny tiny. But I was having some wine, y'all, so I'm just not sure if I can trust my own mind. All right, so we answered that one. So let's go ahead and pull another. What's a word that always sounds silly? So that's funny. You guys see my diffuser back here? So I use essential oils, and I used to have like DIY parties and things like that. And I don't know if you guys are aware, maybe I can put it in this camera. So, this part right here, the little plastic part, that's called a orifice. And I was having a DIY party and I said to my daughter, I said, yeah, just pop the orifice off because it'll be easier to get more out of it, right? And she was like, don't ever say that word again. I was like, why? That's not like a bad word. She's like, I didn't like the way that sounded. I know some people have issues with, oh gosh, what's that word? I don't know. Somebody said something, or I said something the other day too, and they're like, yeah, yuck, don't say that word. So anyway, I thought that was funny. It made me think of that. All right, let's see here. Ooh, what's an irrational fear of yours? What's something you should be afraid of but aren't? I think I've answered that one before, and that's probably snakes and bugs. I love all nature. What's an irrational fear? So irrational fear for me, and I've actually, it's tree sap. Like when you sit in a chair and like it's under a pine tree and it like dripped pine sap, freaks me out. And I've actually struggled with that my whole life. And I finally, a couple years ago, I was like, I went outside and I put like my hands on like the arm of the chair and it was right there. And I was talking to my daughter and I looked at it and she goes, go ahead, go run in and wash it off. And I was like, no, I'm gonna face my fear. Like, cause it's like a true fear, right? And she goes, really? I go, yeah. And I just kept repeating in my head, you're okay, you're not gonna die. You're okay, you're not gonna die. You're okay, you're not gonna die. And I'm trying to concentrate on what she's saying, but I keep looking at my hand. And so I kind of moved it out of my eyesight. And then we're talking and she finishes her story. And I said, okay, now that you finish your story, I'm going to run in and wash my hand. And she goes, oh my goodness, I totally forgot about it. I said, I haven't for 1 minute. Like, it's just, so I'm like, I really need to explore that, right? Like, what is that makes me feel like that? And the thing that I came up with was, my dad and I were very close, but he wasn't home a lot because he was a merchant marine, right? So he was gone for like 2 months at a time, 2 to 4 months, depending on, well, like more like 1 to 3 months. But then he'd be home for like a week to 3 weeks, depending on where he was going next. So we were really close, but he wasn't home a lot. And when he was, sometimes he was drinking heavily. So, it wasn't quality time. And he wasn't really like he was an okay, like handyman type person. He wasn't great, but he did stuff. So he had built us a tire swing out back with a rope right over the tree. And it was on a pine tree. And I was so happy. I don't know. My love language is acts of service. So like him, like actually making something for our joy, like touched me deeply. But then over time, every time I went to get on it, the rope, like the sap would just like leak down. And then you couldn't even like, I think I went and grabbed a kitchen towel and put it around there and but then it was like on the seat and I was just so sad because I literally couldn't use it. And I had forgotten all about that until I was sitting there that day like, I'm okay, I'm not gonna die, I'm okay, I'm not gonna die. And sometimes it's like it's just an irrational fear, right? But it was connected to something in my childhood. So I encourage you guys to journal about these questions and see what comes up. We're going to do one more. Ooh, okay. If you could receive one divine download, what would it say? All right. Oh, that's kind of a deep one. Oh gosh, just one. I don't know. I have so many spiritual questions. Are UFOs real? Oh my goodness. I would think it would have to do something with the best way to help people, because that is the thing that gives me the most joy. And if you've been here since it started, there's been a lot of trauma. There's been a lot of things that have happened. I have been in therapy this every single week for the last over a year now. And I guess just like the piece of why am I here, and what's the best way I can help. I think that's the conversation that comes up the most, right? And that podcast is part of this. I realized that I was really, I don't want to say good. I preferred having deep conversations out loud with my loved ones about things that were troubling me, instead of, I do journal, but instead of journaling. So, and I talked to my therapist about this too. When I'm on the podcast, it's kind of like an out of body experience. Like when I'm looking back at it to like take notes for the description and things like that, I'm like, oh, I don't even remember saying that, because it's like kind of like the authenticity of what is on my mind, and it's like my subconscious coming out through my voice. So I do feel like that is a gift of mine, and I hope that you guys appreciate that I am here very vulnerable every single week, sharing my deep fears, my irrational fears, my conspiracy theories, my dysfunctional childhood, all of it. But yeah, I love it. And I'm learning to love it more. The first couple times I was like, oh my God, like what have I gotten myself into? But I really felt that that was part of my path. And that is why I'm here. Part of why I'm here. I would like to know the rest of it. And on that, I think I will end this. I think that was a good place to end. So, as always, you can, I want to tell you guys too, I have put together a freebie for y'all, a 20-day, I was going to say if you wanted to watch with a journal, you could journal some of these questions for yourself. But I put together 10 questions from this deck plus 10 more that I've never asked on air before. And it's totally free. I will not spam you. I promise. I'm not that person. I hate like constant spam emails. So I will drop that link for you guys and get your, and they're the exact copies. So they're really pretty. I did use them a little bit, I think, last podcast. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. If you stayed to the end, thank you so much for my, my ADHD and rants and squirrels and trying to stay on track. And, as always, love to all.